to share something, but before I go into that, I just want to um take my bearing from a story in the Bible. Oh yes, I'm a Christian. So from the story of Elijah and the widow of Zarephath, when just after, I know that for Christians, I want to believe that we're familiar with this story. After the conquest on Mount Carmel, and Elijah has to run for his life. Eventually, God told him to go to a widow who would provide his need for some time and all of that. Now, you know that when Elijah met that woman, the woman was gathering sticks, as it was recorded in the Bible, for her last meal, according to her, for her and her child, for her and her son, right? And everything the woman saw in that um, remnant, so to say, in the remaining ingredients, was just a last meal. That was all she saw in all that she had. Because according to her, she was telling the prophet that she wanted to just take the stick, right? She just wanted to take the stick and just prepare the meal for her child and herself, and after which they would die. Like, that was the conclusion for her. That was for her a last meal. Okay, but then Elijah told the woman to, to prepare something for her, for him first, and after which we know the story. Now, I just want us to draw a few lessons from that story. Yes, it's a story that we're familiar with, and I know that, of course, we've learned a lot from the story, but I just want to share a little bit of my personal lesson from that particular story. And I think and I believe that is actually very applicable to our lives, whether as believers or as humans generally. I believe it's something that is just so relevant to our lives. Okay, you know that sometimes we do not actually know the value of what we have. This woman had something that could actually feed her for a very long time, that could sustain her and her family for a very long time, but everything she saw in it was just let me just say a last meal, right? Until she came in contact with someone. And the first lesson I would actually want to draw from that is the power of supernatural or strategic relationships. Now, if the woman had not met Elijah, there's a possibility that she would have there is a possibility that she might have taken that last meal and would have died with her child, as she thought she would die, right? But then she met Elijah, which for me was just a supernatural relationship and a very strategic one, needed at a very critical point or critical moment of her life. And thank God she said yes to the relationship anyway. Sometimes we are just so carried away with our needs. We are carried away with our needs such that we just blind our eyes to every other person's need or every other person around us. There's a way that the devil would make us just believe that, okay, you have needs, you have problems, you have difficulties, you have challenges, so why should you cater for other people's needs, right? Why should you just focus on yourself, and when you're all sorted, then when you have it all, you can actually attend to other people, right? It's logical that she was probably, I want to believe that she might have been hungry for her to be looking for something like that to cook. She might have been hungry for her to be gathering, stick for her to prepare the last meal. But she paused. Someone needed her attention, and she was kind enough to pause in the midst of her own quest for fending for herself, trying to get something that she would need to prepare a meal. She was kind enough to listen to this total stranger, someone she has never met before. She was patient enough to just hear Elijah out, not even knowing that was a miracle she needed at that point in time. Okay, so yes, so I think the lesson to just learn from that is that we should not, because of our own difficulties, challenges, and problems, just blind our eyes to other people or to the needs of others around us. We do not have to have everything, we don't have to have it all before we can actually cater for the needs of others. Okay, and another thing about that is that for me, that passage is somehow actually. Now, I said that I'm gathering stick, and here come these total strangers interrupting me. At first, I was kind enough, to even hear him out. Okay, what do you have to say? Although you are in code distracting me from what I want to do, I was kind enough to hear him out. Here he's asking for a drink. Now I was willing to give him the drink, but he didn't stop there. He went the extra. He went further into asking that I provide him a meal. You know, yeah, it's actually funny. Truth be told, it is funny. But then, do you know what this woman did? The woman just, I think, she went beyond herself, right? She had a need, but then she just suspended her own need, and she was just ready to just go and do that. The woman did not know Prophet Elijah before that particular time. They were just meeting for the first time. If she had heard a news, probably he had heard or known him for something, would have said, okay, probably the action was done based on credibility of the person, of this particular person in question. But she had never met the person. But that is what I would call crazy faith, and I'm still coming to that, right? So the woman prepared the meal for the prophet, and after which the meal was not used up according to the word of the prophet as it was recorded in the Bible, right? Okay, so I would just liken that particular story to our lives as humans, right? You know that just like that woman, sometimes we're just looking at something in our lives, right? We're looking at probably a skill, probably a little amount of money, probably a relationship that seems so insignificant. Probably it could just be anything that we can actually tag small, little. And sometimes this skill, let me just use a skill for example. This skill is just a skill that I consider that, well, I know that this skill cannot actually take me anywhere. Just like that woman was saying, let me just prepare this meal and after which I would die. Just say, okay, I don't know why I'm even still doing this, but let me just do this for the last time. It could be somebody we know. Just say that, well, this person is not even beneficial to my life. I don't even know why I'm still keeping this person. It's high time I just said goodbye to this person. But just before we eat that last meal, just before we discard that skill, just before we just squander that last amount of money, or just before we just misuse it, there's actually something that can be done, right? We can actually, it's amazing, and it's so mind-blowing how that God can make so much out of nothing. And one thing I appreciate about this woman is that, unlike that man that was given one talent and went to bury it, that man would have thought in his mind that, what can this one talent do for me? Yes, like this woman as well. Well, she felt that when that was the last meal, that woman could have as well just stayed at home and felt that last meal, that flour in her house was just so insignificant and would not do anything for her. And she might just have sat there at home and died with her child, right? But she was willing to use that little thing left And just in a bit to just prepare that little thing left, to make good use of that little thing left, a miracle happened. And so I just want to ask that, what is that little thing that you think is insignificant that you have just left dormant? It could be different things for different people. It could be a certification you feel that is not relevant. Probably you studied a course in the university and you just feel that it's not relevant. What do I want to do with this? Or it could even be that you're currently studying a course that you didn't choose and you just feel that, what can this course do for me, right? It could be anything. See, God can do so much with little. One thing is that if God can actually make so much out of nothingness, have you ever wondered or deeply thought about creation? How that God brought the world. See how beautiful the world is. It was out of everything that exists now was birthed, was brought forth out of nothing, complete void, total darkness, and God brings everything forth. Now, yours is not a case of nothingness at its word, because for me personally, I don't believe that there is anybody on this earth, no matter the situation, no matter the condition, that is left with nothing. There's still something, at least once little thing. I still believe that there's something about you. There's one little thing. It could be a skill, it could be a friend, it could be a relationship, it could be a very small amount of money, it could be if your family, it could just be something. But one thing I actually want to pay attention to is how to, maximizing the minute, maximizing the inconsequential, maximizing the insignificant, in quotes. You wouldn't know the greatness that can be bettered from that little thing in your hand. You wouldn't know the greatness, the mighty things, the mind-blowing things that can be brought forth from that illogical idea. It's weird. It could be weird, right? You don't know the extent to which that thing can go. It's mind-blowing. And according to the word of the prophet, the bean of flour was not used up. This is something that one woman was just willing to just eat with her son, with her child, and die. But it sustained her and her family for a very long period of time. Why? Because she was just willing to make use of it. Because she was just willing to take the word of the prophet and act upon it. Because she was just willing to take that bold step. The first step that she took was going out to gather stick. Then the second was, she was willing to actually hear this total stranger out, and eventually she was able to obey the prophet, although it sounds so ridiculous, right? I can't imagine someone coming to me, I'm trying to fight for my life, and the person is saying that, can you help me fight for mine? Do you know? And there lies a miracle. How many times have we actually even lost out on several miracles because we are just so focused on our lives and our own problems? Perhaps the miracle somebody needs isn't just attending to someone else's problem. Perhaps the next miracle somebody needs is, in just giving a hearing ear to that person. What if the person close to you that looks so normal and ordinary is actually the person needed, for you to transcend the next level of your life, right? So please, I would act in a small, you can dust that thing that you've kept for a very long time again. Don't be afraid to go out, to gather sticks, to prepare that meal. It's actually time for you to go out again, to prepare to just, yes. You're not going to die, trust me, you're not going to die. That woman thought she was going to die after that meal, but she did not die. Why? Because she took steps in the right directions, and that was it for her. So instead of just giving up, like, no, I'm not going to try again, it's even almost finished, it's even almost finished, it's almost over, I just have that 1,000 in my account, or I just have things that does not even seem relevant, right? Instead of just concluding that way and just giving up on whatever it is, before you just give up on that relationship, can you just dust it again? Can you just give it a little bit more chance? Thank you for watching today's video. I would appreciate your comments, your opinion, what you think about the video. Yeah, and I would also like you to like, share with your friends and family members, and ultimately I would like you to subscribe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm grateful. Thank you. Till next time. Bye.